Hello, and welcome to another episode of Boris TV. I'm Steve Kanter. In this episode, we're going to highlight the new integration between Boris Soundbite version 2.1 and Final Cut Pro 10. A lot of people continue to use both Final Cut 10 and Final Cut 7. I even created these custom switcher apps that allow me to go back and forth between them, because you can't run Final Cut 10 and Final Cut 7 at the same time. And while Boris Soundbite will now handle both watched folders and Final Cut projects from both Final Cut 7 and Final Cut 10, you have to choose one or the other at startup. So I'll go ahead and switch over to Final Cut 10 and then restart Boris Soundbite so that it's ready to work with Final Cut 10. So in Final Cut 10, I have a project open, and I have a couple of notes for some things to work on. You can see represented by my red markers here. So I'll go ahead and open up the pane here and go to the first note, which is find an alternate take of "Evening, boys, am I rolling down the window?" And again, you can add a watched folder either by clicking the menu down here and choosing Add Watched Folder. All right. Or you can drag and drop. Okay, I happen to have a Final Cut event, and in that Final Cut event, of course, we have all of our various media files, our high quality, our proxy, the original media. These are all in different subfolders, but I can just basically drag the entire event and make it a watched folder. Choose my language. Of course, this wheel here will monitor the progress of the indexing. You can also index Final Cut 10 projects, but not the projects themselves. Rather, because Final Cut has essentially separated what used to be the project into its sequence component, which is the project down here, and all of the clips, which is the event up here, I might choose the event itself and do an export of XML. The XML, of course, contains all the file path locations for the media the Final Cut event points to. Then in Boris Soundbite, I can simply add a Final Cut project by using the pop-up menu, or you can just drag and drop. And now it starts indexing the Final Cut 10 project. What's nice is that once you index the watched folder for the event, the indexing of the project itself is almost lightning quick. And again, you can monitor the progress by hovering over the wheel and seeing about how much of it is indexed. Notice that's 52% indexed. That's 42% indexed. But I can just start searching right away. So let's see what my task is. In this case, we want a different angle, maybe even a different line. Let's go ahead and see what this is. In this particular movie, these guys have robbed a candy store and are being interrogated by a rather adorable cop. Let's watch.
Sir?
You boys have any idea why I pulled you over?
No.
All right, so if we want to put in a different take in there, the traditional method would be I'd have to go and I'd have to remember, which takes have that line in it, and then have to go load those up one at a time. Instead, I can use Boris Soundbite. First, I can go over to the Soundbite application itself and just start typing in the text. You boys have any idea why I pulled you over? And of course, we're searching all searchable media now. So these purple results are the actual clips from the indexed project, and these other results are media files that are part of the watched folders. It doesn't really matter which of these I want to look at. I can send these back to Final Cut Pro once I've found the hits that I'm looking for. All right, so I'm going to narrow this down a little bit so I don't have to go through quite so many clips. I just want to go through the video clips that start with V1. And then I'll double click the first one just to start up the playback engine.
You boys have any idea why I pulled you over?
And then use my arrow keys.
You boys have any idea why I pulled you over?
to go down.
You boys have any idea why? You boys have any idea why I pulled you over?
Okay, there's one I want.
No.
It's 5.
You boys have any idea why I pulled you over?
There's another take.
You boys have any idea why I pulled you over? You boys have any idea why I pulled you over?
All right. I think all 4 of those will work. So I'll basically select them and then choose export to FCP10 XML. Okay. Back to FCP10. And then in FCP10, I'll choose to import XML. Again, this is instantaneous. As you can see, if I reveal where this stuff is, it's in the folder where the original media is on my original drive. Alright, so here, as you can see, are all the markers. And it even has my misspelled text in there. And if I want to audition these in Final Cut Pro, again, I can just start the first one by playing.
You boys have any idea why I pulled you over?
And then the keyboard shortcut to go from one marker to the next is Control quote to go forward, or Control semicolon to go backwards. And if I'm playing, I can just do this live.
You boys have any idea why I pulled you over? You boys have any idea why I pulled you over? You boys have any idea why I pulled you over?
And I think I've decided that I like this one right here. All right, and then I can just also audition them in list view. In this view, I kind of like to open up the disclosure triangles, and that way I can just start playing.
You boys have any idea why I pulled you over? You boys have any idea why I pulled you over? You boys have any idea why I pulled you over?
All right, and I like that clip there, so I'm going to go ahead and drag that down here and use the wonderful replace edit function. And of course, in Final Cut 10, I could not only replace that, but I could replace and add it as an audition clip using the audition feature.
How are you?
Good evening, sir.
You boys have any idea why I pulled you over?
How are you?
Good evening, sir.
You boys have any idea why I pulled you over?
No.
So let's go see what our next line is. What's a candy store? In this case, I'll just actually copy with Command C. And then there's a nice little pop-up menu up here where I can paste it. What's a candy store? It's an off-screen line that the director heard on set and wants to put back into the cut. Alright, now, in this case, I might even just want the audio files, because all I'm looking for is the off-screen line. Let's audition.
A candy store robber.
What's a candy store?
Ah, there it is. What's a candy store? Alright, or I could try to find the actual clip with video, in case I want the...
A candy store robbery.
What's a candy store?
Alright, so I'll just export that. Go back to Final Cut Pro and import XML. Once again, it shows up in a new event. And there's the markers, helping me find easily the line that I want.
What's a candy store?
Alright, and I'll just go ahead and put this in with audio only, where the director wanted it. And let's see how it works.
You guys know anything about that?
What's a candy store?
Now, of course, these index markers that have come from Soundbite are now searchable in Final Cut Pro. So the text indexing and the phonetic indexing really work hand in hand. You can configure Soundbite to launch automatically when you log in so that the search menu is always available to you whenever you're working in Final Cut 10 or Final Cut 7. In the next episode, I'm going to show you how you can set an indexing location to a shared network location so that you can index once across the SAN for multiple users. Until then, thanks for watching, and don't forget to try the free trial of Boris Soundbite, if you haven't already, at www.borisfx.com/soundbite. I'm Steve Kanter. Thanks for watching.